Sorry about all the paper
I like how we
rustling.
all just gave up and we decided who we'd have like a happy life with.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's what this is.
Happy life.
Happy life, no escape. My name's Cassidy.
And I'm Cody.
And this is the YEGans podcast. Each episode, we try to learn something new from experts who just so happen to be our friends.
This week, we learn about polar bear ecology with our friend Brooke.
We need something clever now.
No, now you want something clever? This is meta. We can keep that.
There's so much worry in the world today. Makes you want to cry and hide away. But when you're with us, you have a place to stay. So just hit play to take pause. Just hit play to take pause. Just hit play to take pause.
Why did we invite Brooke onto our podcast, Cassidy?
That's a really good question. I can't think of a single reason why we would do such a thing.
Yeah, and neither could she, because there's quite a... Fuck me. I was going to say quite a few and very many. I was like, quite a fuck.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that.
Me neither. It's April Fools.
Wait, not by the time this episode goes up. April Fools, it's not April Fools.
Yeah, who knows? I can't trust anyone these days, especially on April Fools. Like, I just avoid Facebook altogether and decide to interview my friends and find out what's true.
Yeah, especially because the only pranks I pulled today were on Facebook. One of them was telling my roommates that our rent is now $2,000 a month, which, honestly, looking back, that's kind of believable, and I can see why they got pranked. But
I think you're in cahoots with my landlord, because he did the same thing. I was like, this has to be a prank. I heard this one before, and I ripped it up and burned it, and I haven't looked at it since.
Yeah, I mean, I start out so many of my sentences with, yeah, I mean...
That's the way people speak. Saying Instacrack dialogues, they're like, yes, yeah, it's just part of, you have to affirm what people say when you listen. When you write, you don't have to affirm shit.
No, that's true.
Well, Aristotle is the first philosopher who really digs science. Mm-hmm. He thinks that when you look at nature and you see how when you analyze the trends of nature, you can learn how to live a good life. I pitched that elsewhere. So, like, he's the first one who said that. Like, look at nature, follow its example, and you can get truth from a lot of ideas of truth. So I like that, because that's what we're doing with this podcast ultimately. So
Ideas of truth. So what does that mean? Like,
so what people think to be true, or what people have, like, have instances or anecdotes of something being true. Because what we draw, like, what we think is true and good is from what we've seen, or stories we've been told. So they recount those stories, right? And
then you think that if you get
enough of them with an eye for seeing what's similar and what's dissimilar, you could find truth.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That reminds me of when we had our documentary screening through the McEwen Veg Club, the Leguminati Society, and we were all sitting around talking about the documentary, which was What the Health, and it's kind of a similar concept. It's like the concept of a meta-analysis where you might have one study that was poorly designed, or even if it was well designed, you can't necessarily replicate those results. But if you have enough studies of the same thing, you can draw sort of better conclusions from that than you can from any individual study.
Yeah, because you have both the parts and the whole in the frame of reference, so you can draw better conclusions, maybe deeper conclusions, and conclusions from things that wouldn't normally be compared. Mm-hmm. I like the example they use, too, because a lot of people live life without thinking that much about life. So if you ask something that's kind of necessary for life, like, what do you think is a good person? Most people have answers. They just never had the opportunity to put it into words.
Yeah.
So we're lucky that both science exists and that our podcast exists, because we had Brooke on our show.
One thing that I did quickly want to mention is that we now have a website, and it is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. It's just www.yeganspodcast.com, and you're going to be able to go there to listen to the podcast. There's going to be links to the YouTube channel. It's going to be connected to SoundCloud. We're hoping to be able to incorporate a download feature so that you can download the audio and listen to it offline. So check that out for sure if you haven't already. And then we also have begun a Patreon. And it explains it on our Patreon page, but basically we've invested some money into this venture, whether it's for starting the website, we're hoping to get some better recording equipment, and then just, our time and effort that we put into this. It does take quite a while for us to produce these podcasts. So we started a Patreon. It's basically you pledge a certain amount of money per month. It can be as low as $1, or I think I set the cap at $50, which is like pretty ridiculous, but hey, if you value our content that much, then we'll take your money. And there's actually rewards associated with each level, and I didn't really discuss this with Cody.
Oh my god. I thought I was selling out, but I'm already sold. Let's do this. I'm into it. I want to buy these.
Yeah, I think that the highest reward was for $50, Cody and I will cook you dinner. Which I capped at a maximum of 5 people could possibly pledge that much.
This is terrifying,
Yeah, I'm banking on probably no one actually doing that, but hey, if you do, we will absolutely cook you dinner. I mean, at least I will.
Hope you like sriracha toast.
Yeah, we didn't really specify what the dinner would be, so...
I'll bring a lot of wine.
But if you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/YEGans podcast. And yeah.
I'm going to plug a quote because I am an undergraduate student. Therefore, introductory readings by Aristotle is a go-to. And I'm going to share a little piece. I don't know how to source things. I'll just paraphrase it. That kind of inspired our making of this podcast in general. And then it's especially true with having Brooke here today. So, this podcast, I'm not really sure what the end goal is, but it's essentially we want to learn how to live a better life, how to be happy, and we think that the way to do that is by asking our friends the questions that bother us. And as we're getting from belief to belief to belief, I think we're getting a lesson. What the lesson is, who knows? I'm in it too, so we're going to find out in retrospect.
Yeah.
We going to be retrospect haters together.
Hashtag retrospectators. That's just gonna be how YouTubers have names for their fans. Ours are gonna be the retrospectators, which is just such a mouthful.
I want to call them casualties. We're just spraying about ideas and some people get hit. It's too bad. Launch that complimentary bullet in my heart. I just reaffirming and telling people what we're doing for the 5th time because they're like, what? I thought we were learning about trap houses. And I'm like, not today. We are in fact learning how to live a good life. But what about April Fools? That was just an introduction.
Yeah, no, that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. The whole reason we started this piece was to introduce what will now follow this segment, which is our interview with Brooke Biddlecombe, living in St. Albert. If you try and find her, she will kill you.
She'll sick her polar bears on you.
Straight up, yeah. She'll shoot you from a helicopter and then, tag your ear. And then she'll conduct empirical analysis on the rest of your life.
What were you wanting to learn from Brooke today?
That exact thing. I want to learn what's it like to wake up knowing that within a few months you're going to shoot a polar bear with a tranquilizer dart from a helicopter. That's it.
I don't know what happens after that. Yeah. I we should have asked. We'll ask her later.
I think Brooke cries and then she says, holy shit, and then she looks at the camera. She says, this is really extra, guys.
Yeah, I mean, she's such a wellspring of knowledge, in so many respects. So I'm looking forward to having her on again, but today you get to learn all about polar bears. It's fascinating. It's exhilarating. I
can't even bear it.
So good?
It's not good, but we'll do it. And we're here with Brooke. We're all wondering who's going to say something, so I'll say something. Brooke, who we'll introduce right now.
Yeah.
Brooke,
cool.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm Brooke.
Nice.
What's your last name?
Oh, Brooke Biddlecombe.
What's your address?
I live in St. Albert. Is that enough?
It says enough.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
YEGans has now spread to St. Albert people now. Yes. This is important.
I don't know. I'm a university student or a master's student at the U of A.
What are you studying?
I study polar bear ecology.
What does that mean?
So ecology, I guess, if I'm gonna get a real simple here. Ecology is, I guess, studying the interaction between animals and their environment, or organisms and their environment. And I study polar bears specifically and their environment.
That's okay. I have a question. Why did you make a distinction from animals to organism?
Because there's a lot of you can do ecology of microbes. I have a friend who studies carbon sequestration of microbes in permafrost, and that's not an animal. I don't know, man. I can't really talk to her about science because it's super boring to me. still ecology.
I feel like so strongly in the opposite direction. I think microorganisms are fucking dope.
Oh my god. Us large mammals people.
Yeah.
I'm on team large mammals.
Alright, that's fine. I'll just sit here in my corner with my germs.
But there's germs inside large mammals, so I'm secretly
we're
on your
everywhere. Team. Like, stop us. I'll sequester your carbon whether you like it or not.
Anyway, Brooke, what else do you do besides set us up for good jokes?
Yeah, you're a very interesting person, I happen to know.
God, so. That's a high bar.
Yeah, you said it.
What? Oh, shit. What else do I do? I honestly, I just do school a lot. I do yoga.
Yoga.
I have dogs. Most important character trait. So I have 2 dogs.
2 dogs. Who tell us about your
Can
dog.
anyone really have a dog?
That's a good point.
I share my life with
There
2
you go.
dogs.
Aww.
And your Instagram followers too.
Yeah. My dog has more Instagram followers than me, so
And me
Wow.
too, though.
that's pretty real.
How
Like
many
Gus
followers does Gus have?
Gus has like over 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
I would like to thank the Dodo for that. They wrote an article on him.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That's amazing. We'll link that in the comments below so you can
Can
all
you get
check
Gus
out
to
his-
give us a shout out? Like, it'd be really good for us.
Oh my god. Yo, if Gus was here, I can make him scream. Like,
Oh, that's...
no! No! If you like... He's a turbulent little fellow. That's
Yes.
why.
We'll go with that. So, okay, you teach yoga, right?
Oh, yeah. I substitute teach yoga mostly because I'm too busy to actually have a class. But, I mean, I'm a certified yoga teacher.
Is there any crossover, like, in your notes? Because sometimes when I was, like, writing exams and writing D&D, I'd mix up my notes and get the weirdest fucking things. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, is this from mythology class or is this something I made up?
Oh my god.
Do you ever find it with, like, studying, like, teaching yoga and teaching, like, microbiology or whatever?
Well, I mean, I teach yoga, and I also teach an introduction to cellular biology lab. And as much as I'd love to be like, oh yeah, I found some great connections, like no, like nothing.
They're not related at all.
Like absolutely nothing. Like I don't know. I feel like the more I learn about science, the more I go to yoga class, and they're like, find your inner spirit, and I'm like, nah. Like, I feel like I'm such a bad yoga teacher because I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I don't think that rock on your forehead is gonna do anything, but whatever. Sorry, I probably just offended like half the world by saying that.
Wow.
I like the skeptical yoga teacher.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
find yourself, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like a really, like, a whitewashed sort of yoga, like, that you're criticizing, though.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Like,
Yeah.
people love to be like with their like crystals and I don't know. Maybe you think crystals saved your life. Like, fine, live your dreams,
The
but
vibrations.
I would never buy any of those.
I like the response.
Also because
Maybe.
I'm poor, so I wouldn't spend my money on rocks.
Yeah, I can't spend my
Yeah.
paper on rocks. Come on.
Yeah.
Paper beats rock.
So, what did you study in your undergrad?
My undergrad was kind of a mess. I started in animal biology. It turns out animal biology just means a lot of like vivisection.
What's vivisection?
Vivisection is like I guess experimenting on animals or like
Like
animal
live?
testing. Yeah, like there's some labs where you like one of the labs, which is actually why I dropped out of university the first time. The lab we just progressively gave alcohol to baby fish and just watched it like mess with their development, and I was like, no, so I just dropped out.
Yikes,
Holy
that
shit.
seems really unnecessary.
Yeah, and they do it for like every single student, every single lab section does it. And I'm like, this seems extra.
Yeah.
So, and completely unnecessary. So I just, but then I went back, and my actual Bachelor of Science has a specialization in ecology, which is exactly what I said earlier.
Wow.
No, it's full circle. Like,
Yeah.
And now you're in your master's.
Yes. And I just didn't take any time off because I knew I'd never go back if I did. Also, I didn't want a real job because I don't like to
Yeah.
work. I
Those
just like
jobs are
to
suckers.
like read and stuff. Yeah.
Can I, like, yes, exactly.
So
I want to comment on the story you just told. Because it's like such a sad situation, like thinking of those fish. But then you insert your character in there, and I'm kind of like laughing. I'm like, you're like, this is extra. Like leaning over to another scientist and whispering that. And then it's funny. I'm like, this is a really sad scene. But like, I don't know. I felt like I watched Okja for a second. I'm like, I'm laughing, but I'm sad.
Yeah, that's real. That's how I felt during that movie, actually.
I'm gonna segue to the. What's the vegan equivalent of saying, like, the meat of our
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Because if someone says tempeh, that's cheap. If you know it's tempeh...
You could say flesh.
The flesh?
That's going to show up.
Don't do the thing.
I know, I get fidgety, too. I'm like...
Story of my life.
I know, I touch my pen, I'm like, I'm going to hear this and hate myself in the future.
Anyway, what'd you say? You could say the flesh. The flesh.
Like, because coconuts have flesh and, like, oranges have flesh.
Got him.
Word, that's a good point.
That's it? No, okay, the flesh of the matter.
Good. We're gonna... No, that could be, like, a little bit innuendo-y, but that's fine. Just keep going.
Anyway, what should we know about polar bears? Like I'm someone, I just came into existence, I can touch things, I can smell things, I can see things, and this white motherfucking monstrosity comes up to me. What do I do?
Okay, real talk. If you're in that situation where a polar bear comes up to you, it's too late.
Okay.
You're gonna be dead.
Nice. Short life.
So, I mean, a good thing to know is don't hang out with polar bears because they'll eat you. Or they'll try and eat you and then probably give up because humans don't have enough fat. And they would just be like, well, this is a waste of my time. And leave you there dead.
Oh, God.
Polar bears are pretty nice, though. Like, don't...
They're good guys.
Yeah.
So what's it like to be a polar bear right now? Like, let's pretend they kept journals. What would they be writing about?
Yeah, give us a glimpse into their world.
I think it depends on the population. So, in the circumpolar Arctic, which basically just means across the whole northern part of the Arctic, there's 19 polar bear populations. Some of them are doing pretty good. There's one in Newfoundland that's like having a great time. But lots of them are not. So being a polar bear right now, with climate change, sea ice is melting, or there's just less sea ice throughout the year. So polar bears don't have access to food as much because they mostly eat ringed seals and bearded seals, which, let's just fucking get right into it. Ringed seals and bearded seals.
I like that too.
Yeah.
They live on the sea ice and under the sea ice, so they dive to get food, and so they keep like breathing holes open in the ice that they come up for air because they're mammals, so they have to breathe air. And so polar bears stand around these breathing holes, and so then when the seals come up for air is when like the polar bear just fucking mashes on it and hopefully kills it. I mean, I'm biased in that it hopefully kills it, but for the polar bear, hopefully it kills the seal. Mm-hmm. And when there's no sea ice, polar bears obviously can't gain access to seals that way. And they're usually stuck on land in the ice-free season, or as the ice retreats north, they move up north with the ice, which is also bad because during peak like hunting season, the sea ice is over the continental shelf, which is like the most productive part of the ocean, right? And then when the hopefully everyone knows that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
We're really well versed in this subject. We don't even really need you here.
Yeah. And so then when the ice starts to melt, it goes more over top of like the ocean basin, which is really deep and not as productive because the land isn't dark, so like no plants can grow, no plankton can live, all that stuff. So if the polar bears stay on the ice and they move up north, closer towards the actual North Pole, they can't gain seals because seals aren't there because there's no food for them. So they're either on land where there's no seals or on the ice where there's no seals. And then they starve and then they get really skinny. And the biggest deal is that when females don't get enough food, so when a female gets pregnant and she like goes into her maternity den, she stays there and she doesn't eat for the entire time that she's pregnant, and also while she's like lactating and feeding her young until they emerge from the den. So she actually, even after she gives birth, she has 3 months where she's still not eating but producing breast milk for her young. So if they don't have enough fat before they even get pregnant, their young will either, she'll abort the fetus, or when the young is born it will die, which basically means that there's no polar bear babies. And polar bears usually get pregnant every 2 to 3 years, and they have 1 to 2 cubs usually. 3 is like a freaking miracle.
Like at a time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so like and then the cubs actually stay with the moms for like 2.5 years. So not having like missing the denning season or having a cub that dies, like it's a really big missed opportunity, obviously.
Yeah.
So the more that happens, the more the populations are threatened. And the sadder polar bears become.
That was like a home run. I saw like the ball of like, I don't know, thesis ricochet off your bat, and it's like,
That is kind of low-key my thesis.
that was very deductive. Like you said how all the problems intersect with each other. That was like really well explained. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, in light of all of this sort of tragedy and pessimism that we hear when we think of the polar bears, and how skinny they are, and how
they're not all that skinny, but I'll get into that later.
Some of them have good body image. Regardless, I think because a lot of people have seen that really sad skinny polar bear video, right? So, what do you think about the future of all this? What's your prediction or your...
Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that polar bear video first, because that was like, I work with a bunch of people that study polar bears, and that was like the hugest thing for so long. That's all we talked about. And my supervisor for my master's thesis is like the polar bear authority, like, no big deal. But he got like people from like newspapers and like online journalism, that's it, online journalism sources and stuff, asking him about it. And that actual polar bear in that video, everyone just said that the polar bear was starving because it couldn't access food. But that polar bear, he thinks at least that it wasn't just starving, like there was something else making it so it couldn't access food. Like it could be sick, it could have like a broken jaw because then it can't eat anyway. It wasn't just starving because there was no seals. There was like compounding factors that actually made it that skinny. I mean, it was still sad. It was still a sad dying polar bear. But that polar bear probably died like less than a week after that video.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously not having enough food is still a huge issue. But for that one in particular, you can't like just blame lack of seals.
Right.
Because it was something else. I mean, it was great for awareness. Like we got people feeling so sad about polar bears. It was so good. I love that. I love when people get sad about polar bears.
Is that a fact in your writing? You're just like, yeah, it was very scientific, very true, but what's sad about it?
I mean, for like scientific writing, you can't really do that. But when I like talk about my research and like talk about polar bear ecology or anything to people, I'm always like, they're dying. Like,
low-key.
By the way, climate change is bad.
Yeah, so this is obviously really tied to climate change. So what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, yeah, that was actually your first question. Sorry. Just went on a rant.
A good one.
I mean, the way that we look at polar bears now, the prognosis isn't great. I've heard some people say that in 50 years, they'll be almost gone. A more conservative estimate is in 100 years. I think 50 years is a bit crazy because there's still lots of polar bears and still populations that are doing well and actually growing. But I think lots of Arctic scientists would agree that in like 100 years, if they're not completely extinct, there'll be a lot of populations that are at least extirpated. Extirpated means they're extinct in a region. Yeah, so I mean, the future of polar bears isn't good. I don't even, like, I know we try and like promote climate change awareness and like doing things to like prevent or reduce your climate change impact. But at this point, it's hard to tell if that will help polar bears specifically at all, or if they're too far gone. I mean, obviously it'll help other Arctic animals, but in terms of polar bears, it's so hard to say, which is kind of depressing, because like, hey, I'm just going to do my thesis on this animal that goes extinct.
Well, like, what can people do? Like, it just seems so abstract and far away to like us. I mean, not that far away. It's pretty cold outside.
Yeah. Very true. I mean, for polar bears specifically, or like for the entire Arctic, pretty much the best thing that you can do is do everything you can to educate yourself on climate change and how to reduce your climate change impacts. Because, I mean, climate change is obviously affecting everything, but it actually affects the poles 2 times faster than the rest of the planet because of this wonderful thing called Arctic amplification. Which basically just means that with like air currents and cloud cover and stuff, the warming just happens faster up there. So you really see the effects of climate change a lot faster, which is why like we see like sea ice melting, ice caps melting, and all that stuff. But I mean, this might be personal bias, but the best thing you can do is go vegan.
Why, Brooke? Tell us why.
Wow. I'm probably just a really biased hardcore vegan who also hates climate change. But but I mean, being vegan it just reduces your carbon emissions, methane emissions, #cow farts. And just overall, it's just a much more environmentally friendly diet choice. I mean, you're not going to specifically be like, oh, if you are vegan, polar bears will be happy. Like,
it's just like a one-to-one causal relationship.
Yeah, like it's not. But there are a lot of things you can do. But I think in terms of like what you can do, like living in the city and like not radically changing your lifestyle, I mean, I can say being vegan for 5 years, that being vegan is really easy, and it's an easy way to really reduce your, I guess, ecological footprint.
I would have to agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But to avoid alienating some of our audience here, what
else can people do?
Yeah, let's
okay. Good. There's lots of things you can do. I think a really big one that I've been working on really hard lately is trying to drive less, like reduce emissions that way, because I mean, I definitely have a car, I drive a lot, but I take transit when I can, and reduce the amount of waste that you produce. Mm-hmm. Plastic is a big one. Plastic not only because processing it and stuff produces carbon emissions, but also throwing it away, it goes into the oceans, and that kind of feeds its way through the food web, and actually you get there are a lot of studies finding toxicity in polar bear flesh and in polar bear tissues that they've accumulated through the food web just from like pollutants that humans have introduced into the environment. So, I mean, just being aware of like where you're getting things, how they're being made, what you're putting out into the environment, trying to reduce, like I said, like plastic consumption, just waste in general.
Yeah, I like the plastic thing. One thing I've started doing is taking containers, like reusable containers, to bulk barn and buying stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, why haven't I been doing this entire time? Like, I love making these little discoveries and then just like feeling so great about myself.
Right?
And I mean, I know it's not going to save the polar bears, but like maybe like one polar bear.
And I just like to think about all animals. Every time I get on my parents a lot for this. Every time they take a plastic bag from a grocery store, like a one-use plastic bag, I literally will yell at them, "You just killed a sea turtle!" And like they kind of feel bad for a while. So I mean, little things like that.
Just little guilt trips.
Yeah, yelling at people. It's fine.
So much sadness in scientific writing.
Oh my god. It's so true though. I think most science nowadays, I actually just wrote about this in a different article the other day. Science is really, it's like the new face of science is what we were talking about, but it's really going towards, like science used to be just like looking into things that you were curious about, or like, just things that people wanted to find out about just for the sake of knowing. Now it's gone a lot more to like problem solving and really applied issues. Just because, I mean, if we have the ability to do it, why wouldn't you try and help someone or something, or do something good with your science? So I mean, that's kind of cool. Like almost everyone I know doing like a master's or a PhD, like it's doing some sort of application that's not just like, hey, polar bears have black tongues, now we know, cool. Like,
so you would almost, I mean, it sounds to me like one sort of marker for like a society that's sort of progressed to a more sustainable point is that we're actually just doing science for the sake of science again, and not science to try to solve all of these like world issues. Would you say that?
Okay, wait, what?
Like, if we were to look into the future and see our society as, like, maybe not having succeeded. Well, I guess, in a way. Okay. Like, you could sort of, that would be, like, almost a marker of we've gotten past this destructive human nature, and...
I mean, I think there's definitely a need right now to do science to solve problems, because there's so many problems. Yeah, and I think if we ever get to, I honestly, I don't really have that much faith in human nature, but if we ever get to a point where we have solved all this, like, mass destruction we're doing on everything, and we can just do science out of curiosity again, I think that would be probably monumental, but I don't really see that ever happening. There's too many things that, like, just overall, like, environmental straight-up destruction that we're doing. I mean, I don't see us stopping exploiting things enough to just do science for the sake of learning anymore. I mean, people still do it, but...
I always love talking to you about, like, human nature, because you have such a, like, a scientific view of human nature. It's like, nature's kind of savage. Why would humans be exempt to that?
Honestly, though.
And then you throw in consciousness and, like, things and, like, misinterpretations and then a lot of power. So I have a question about you, about human nature, because you said that, what do you think, because I asked this to our friends who we interviewed concerning permaculture, what do you think makes someone not all those things that you mentioned? A non-greedy being, someone who doesn't do all those things, and what would be, like, the better way to go? Like, if you could shape nature like a druid in D&D, how would you shape nature, and what would you, just some suggestions. You're not God in this sense.
Dang it.
But dangerously close in these campaigns. I play D&D with Brooke.
Exposed.
Yeah, just in case people are like, is he okay? I'm like, did I smell burning toast?
Oh my god. Okay, so I think...
What are the good things about humans?
So I think that even, like, people that try to be, like, super, like, virtuous and try and do everything quote-unquote right, I don't think anyone is actually, like, good, which is pretty savage, but I think that there's definitely a lot of, like, good things and good people, and they do good things. I don't know, I think the best thing you can do is try and keep in mind things, I guess, outside of yourself. I'm not saying I'm a good person at all, but I kind of fluctuate between, like, doing things for me because, like, I want to do them and it's something that I'm, like, am really interested in pursuing, aka a master's degree and a PhD eventually. But also I try and do things, like, I have shaped my research around things that I'm hoping are going to help the world in some way, shape, or form. And also sort of things in my personal life, trying to help other people or trying to help... animals. Why not? One day I'll have 37 dogs, probably.
If all goes well.
Yeah, if I have a house that fits more than 3. I don't know. I think the best things that people can do are, just in general, if you're trying to be, like, a good person, TM, is... That's a hard question.
It sounds like you're just suggesting that people strike that balance between like living
treat
for yourself,
right, and treat everyone else.
I love it. Yes. Treat everyone else.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like, just do things, like, if it's something that's going to make you happy, fucking do it. But if it's something that's going to make you happy that comes at the cost of anyone else, don't do it.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Wow, I think, okay, well, that was the quickest lesson in ethics I've ever had.
Yeah.
I've never taken an ethics course.
It's like, I'll just make it up as I go.
Yeah.
Speaking of making it up as we go.
Variety hour. What? Who said that?
So every week, or every episode, I keep saying every week as if we do this every week, and we sure don't.
I'm always weak when I'm here. I made that same joke last time.
You did, yeah.
Oh, God.
Every episode we do a section called Variety, where we play a game, or we do a thought experiment, or something of that nature. This week, we ripped off the Jenna and Julian podcast.
Yes.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. We
got inspired by.
We were inspired by it. Yeah, I like that.
Came to us in a dream.
Yeah.
When we fell asleep watching this.
So the game is what do we call it? Trap room? No escape room.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good.
The premise is...
Can I pitch it?
Cody's going to tell you the premise.
Okay, so all our guests here, and you're included in this, are super prepared. Like, we interview them, they're like practice, but we're going to get you off the script. For those who don't know, Brooke has been, like, actually reading word for word off a very long script and slowly going through it.
Yeah.
It sounds real, but it's all scripted. Every single moment. Even the last. It's spooky.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory does it, whatever. Anyway, this game is going to take you out of that element. And we've kind of customized it around you, but kind of wrote it so that anyone can enjoy it. But I'm going to tell you the premise. And then we're going to explain how the game works. So, you're going to an escape room with... Do we decide beforehand?
On what?
On, like, the people you're choosing?
with some people.
Okay.
You're going with some people, and you have to choose between one of the two people who we will make with these suggestions here. These are people like nouns and like
So we
things that
have,
exist.
two piles. One is a pile of cards with a P on them. Those are the people.
And then we have a pile of cards with a T on them, and these are traits that belong to the people. We're going to grab one card from each pile, and we're going to make a bean, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to have two different people. And from these two people, you choose one who will join you on this adventure that I'll now describe.
Okay.
You find yourself in an escape room. You're with this person, and you're having a good time. Suddenly, while you're in the lobby, the doors shut closed, and there's a TV on the screen, and you see a really cheap knockoff of Saw called,
Rubik's.
He says, riddle me this. This isn't actually an escape room. It's a no escape room. And you're all going to die here. Or maybe you won't. It depends how good you are at surviving horror. However, you're going to be partnered with whoever you choose.
Yeah.
And that is the situation. So you had to imagine, I don't know, an escape room conducted or created by Saw, and you're with this person, and then you have to decide who you want to be with. A lot of factors, but you have to just imagine you're under pressure.
Okay.
We should probably shuffle these because...
We should. There's going to be a lot.
Actually, we should literally put them in a cup, I think.
A cup?
Yeah. You got a couple cups?
Yes. I'm going to try and make... No.
Let's talk shit about Cody for a minute. I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. Like,
no, like how do you say many things about
wow, he sure laughs a lot. What a dick.
What a dick.
The cups are...
Oh, what a great cup, Cody.
Oh my gosh. Here we have a cup that I believe was made by Kelsey during their D&D campaign.
Oh,
and
dear.
that's all I know about it.
I only drink tea out of it. Or I apparently hold raffles in it too.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna, just like...
So I just picked 2 of each?
Yeah,
So-
we're going to go around too.
So we'll each do it. So you'll go first. So, okay, pick your first one of each.
Oh god. I can't decide if my obsession with horror movies is going to make this better or worse.
We don't know either. That's why we're doing
Okay,
it.
so read the person first.
Is that a P?
Yeah, apparently.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
We might need Cody to interpret.
translate.
No, it says Bumblebee from the Transformers movies. I've never seen Transformers. I don't know what that is.
He's a transformer.
He's a large robot who doesn't speak.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't speak. He uses radio and like media sound bites to
Good.
like, communicate.
Like a
Speaking my
DJ.
language.
All right, and
Okay.
his trait.
You never made that connection before.
Ew. Spits in the water before anyone can drink it.
But he's like...
If he's a robot, does he have saliva?
I was wondering the same thing.
In order for this scenario to work, yes, he would have to be able to produce saliva. Some sort of bumblebee saliva that maybe turns the water into honey. I don't know.
That's not vegan.
All right, and then person
Another
number
one?
2.
Oh god.
This game's awesome.
Okay, person number 2. Oh hell yeah! It's Ed Sheeran.
Woo! Yes.
Oh god, my favorite. Okay, is a werewolf. No. Okay.
Damn it. Could you tolerate
What
him
color
as
would
a
he
werewolf?
be?
Would he be a ginger werewolf?
Like a
Totally
fox?
would, yeah.
It's on my level. Like,
We're writing like furry fan fiction, like unintentionally, like, but all roads lead here, I guess.
oh god.
So you're in that situation. You have to choose between the two of these. And I'm not sure if your goal will be survival or having fun along the way, but you can choose.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
mean,
pure.
in theory, you're stuck in this escape room, this
Yeah.
no escape room, because you can't. There's no escape. Like that's where your
Yeah.
life ends.
Oh no, you have to just live there forever?
Maybe
Maybe
Fucking
you have
Ed
to
Sheeran
complete
as
the
a
puzzle.
werewolf.
that's who you choose.
Without a second doubt.
Yes.
You're like, what am I gonna do with Bumblebee?
Yeah,
Listen to Ed
bye-bye.
Sheeran music.
Yeah.
Save the bees. No, thank you. Why are there so many more in this one? Is that right? Did we just make way more people, or is this?
Yeah, I didn't finish all the traits.
Oh, okay.
We still have quite a few though. There's just
Okay.
like a lot.
Do you mind if I go next?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can go next.
So we've got Disney's Hercules
Oh, my favorite.
wears sunglasses at night. Wow.
Those both sound like redeeming characteristics.
And then we have an air conditioner repair person who steals pocket lint for unknown reasons.
I love that.
I like that combo.
Yeah.
You wrote that trait earlier, and I think that's the best like person with it. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
He has so much access to lint and dust, he could just steal it.
We don't know why he's stealing the lint, so, like, it could be for some nefarious purpose, or it could just be because he likes cleaning everyone's pockets out. Maybe he uses it to repair the air conditioner somehow. I don't know.
You'll never know.
I won't. I mean, I might.
Maybe ask him.
I could ask him. I think I'm, like, so intrigued by this that might just be... Because, like, Disney's Hercules... he has some superpowers, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like...
hella strong.
Yeah,
oh, that could come in handy. I mean, if I thought that there was any chance we could escape, I would probably pick him.
And he will do anything for love. I just watched Hercules yesterday.
Wow, someone studied.
Accidentally? Like, accidental studying. What?
Wish I could trick myself into accidentally studying. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the air conditioner repair person. So we're gonna add them to this team.
I thought it was bankers who took the stuff out of my pockets, but who knows? Okay, I have 2 people. I have the Pope. Frick.
Frick.
Yeah. My parents are like, stop swearing on your podcast.
Oh, no.
I'll take it into consideration.
Oh, I think I swore within the first,
Are you gonna have to
few
bleep
seconds.
me?
No, it's like, people can universally swear. I'm just gonna reduce my swearing to fricks. But frick probably is worse than the word fuck.
I can't be contained.
The Pope is hiding a lot of weed somewhere. I read that national.
Yeah, no, like, that sounds like him.
And then Gregory from Over the Garden Wall, adorable, is sneaky. This sounds like a warning. Like, this is the sneakiest way to tell me this.
Gregory is sneaky. Well, he wasn't really particularly sneaky in the show.
He's sneaky now.
But now he's
He's like slowly like singing like what's it, potatoes and molasses. I choose him, like no doubt. Like that is how you kill time. Like you could go through hell with Greg and have a good time.
So
See a Pope.
You pick Gregory.
Yeah.
Here, just I guess we should probably divide these into
Where do these people go?
the abyss.
With Leecha?
Leech. Okay. Sorry about all the paper.
I like how we
rustling.
all just gave up and we decided who would be have like a happy life with.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's what this is.
A happy life.
Happy life, no escape.
Education, right?
Yeah. Right.
Better yourself or else.
Oh, now I do it again?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to
we
keep
just
going.
keep going.
We just have a nice happy family together in a no escape room.
Well, you can add them on if you want. You can just keep having people who join in your like escape room. You're like, oh, they're stuck here too.
Yeah. We just.
Friends.
I would like that idea if we just like slowly add these people into our little society. They have
God.
to adapt.
You're always like, you can live a good life, but you have to like, at the end of the day, you're dodging death.
And it's gonna be crowded. Okay. The LRT, but a person. No.
Kill them. Don't let them live.
Prone to obnoxious pranks. Literally the least good trait you could ever have.
In fact, I don't think you even need to add that trait on to the LRT. I think
this is terrible.
that's just telling you
LRT.
something you already know.
Yeah.
God.
That's how logical. The LRT is a prank.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. It's terrible. Okay. The person reading this post. In quotation marks.
It's like that meme.
Oh god. Is aggressively a cat person. Oh no.
So does that mean that it's you as
Is it
Brooke?
me as a cat person?
There's a meme where someone puts like, it's like, who's the greatest person ever? Mirror, mirror on the wall. And then it says in brackets on the mirror, it's like, the person reading this post. So if you see it on your phone, you're that person, but it's everyone.
Oh my god.
So whoever the person reading that post is, so everyone, and they're also a little
Literally
bit aggressive.
anyone
like
that's a cat person?
and on the internet, so
Wow.
a lot of people.
That's like a horde.
You know what?
You have bad choices.
Could not be worse.
The LRT or Facebook as a person.
Oh no. And also likes cats.
I like how that's the worst part for you.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh, I just realized your shirt is covered. Is that a PJ shirt?
No. Maybe.
It's covered in polar bears.
It
That's
was a
sweet.
gift. I don't know what it is.
No, that's awesome. I would wear that.
You can't. It's mine.
I mean, we'll see what happens in the no escape room.
Oh god.
Okay, what's your verdict here?
This is a really difficult decision. I really hate obnoxious pranks. Like, they make me physically angry. Mm-hmm. So probably Facebook with cats.
I think we answer that every day. It's like, do I go outside and deal with the LRT, or do I stay home and check Facebook with cats?
Oh, God.
It's relatable.
It was. Holy crap. Like, what's 2018 like?
Facebook with cats. Oh, no.
Okay, so here we have an elderly moose who has an orgasm whenever someone mentions One Direction. So probably
Is
often.
that me? Just getting too much information.
And then we have Mayor Don Iveson's personal assistant's shitty kid. Who... What does this say?
Who's high?
Who is high?
And I left it ambiguous. However, one gets high if you're that kid.
Okay, so Mayor Don Iveson's personal assistant's shitty
I mean, he
kid
spins really fast.
who is high.
Eats some sugar.
Oh, man. I don't really want someone's shitty kid who is also high. But, like, an elderly moose having an orgasm, like...
What do you think it sounds
Just
like?
never talk about One Direction.
You're
That's
there.
hard.
Oh.
Gonna be impossible.
You're there.
I'm gonna hang with the elderly moose. I think he's probably got some wisdom we could harness to our advantage.
Your guys are in like an escape room, so I don't know how often you talk about One Direction, but I mean that's what passes the time.
All the time.
All the time. I guess because your life's only going in one direction, so like the music really speaks to you. Badoom! Hades from Disney's Hercules, pretty much James Woods in brackets.
Yes.
You and I both like that movie. I was like, I'm gonna plug this because I like these characters.
Who's James Woods?
He's a voice actor, but he's like,
Hades.
yeah, he's like a smooth talker. Like Hades doesn't speak like that in anything but Hercules. I thought it was Billy Crystal. It's not. Here's the trait. Only speaks in ASMR. I don't even care. No, burn.
Yeah!
Oh, ASMR Hercules? Fucking heck. Freaking hell, man. Like,
I like how you went from heck to hell.
I know, I did the converse instead of the opposite.
Alright.
Rick Sanchez. Oh, please don't say is a pickle. I don't like how life sets up. There's too much destiny. Okay, won't stop talking about the cleanse they're on.
What cleanse would Rick Sanchez ever be on?
Is this like a pickle
It's like
juice cleanse?
Yeah.
Tequila cleanse.
Yeah, there you go.
I choose ASMR Hades any day. Like, that is...
Like,
this...
can that be an ASMR channel, though?
You're like excessively rustling the paper. Just give them.
There's like a theme. Like, I'm going to hell. Like, and it's a good time.
Okay. So much paper wrestling, I'm sorry. Okay, inventor of the shake weight.
So John F.
Looks dead inside and sweaty outside.
That's about what I'd expect from the inventor of the shake weight.
Yeah.
That is too perfect.
Oh, God.
I love that.
What are the odds? Like, we're gambling. Like...
Yeah. Okay. Or everyone's least favorite member of One Direction.
Oh.
We all
I put it
know
in quotation marks. I knew you were gonna say that. We all know who it is.
Help me.
Well, it literally just says "help me." Not just kidding. It says with a professional attitude, like corporate professionalism, like office dude.
Honestly, like, fucking no. No one likes sane, okay?
Oh, you said it.
I said it. Shake weight guy who's sweaty it is.
Oh, jeez. When I hear dead on the inside and sweaty on the outside, I can only think of like a guy. I think of me in the mirror, but like someone like me.
I sort of think of Gus.
That's so true. I see Gus when I look at the mirror too, though.
Can you just like? Can we take a pause? I just want you to describe Gus. to everyone.
Okay. Gus is my dog. He's a Chiweenie, which is a Chihuahua wiener dog hybrid. Maybe there's something else in there. We'll never know. He is king of anxiety. And that is saying a lot coming from me. Perhaps queen of anxiety. He has a killer overbite. So his little tongue always kind of pokes out the bottom of his mouth because it doesn't close all the way. And he's really needy, like really, really needy. Like if you look at him, he'll cry. Like you're not petting him, he'll claw at your face and cry until you pet him. And also, he just screams a lot, like I mentioned earlier.
Right. Dead on the inside, sweaty on the outside.
Yeah, he's like the embodiment of stress, I think.
Everything you said so far, like, I'm, like, if me and Gus were, like, in categories, I'm like, I'm still in them. Like, we're still in the same, you said, is human? Like,
if it was like a Venn diagram, the only outside would be dog and human.
Yeah.
The rest would be in the middle.
Like, I was looking at my reflection in the fireplace, I'm like, oh god.
I am Gus. Oh my god.
Okay, let's see what's next here. An undead fuckboy.
Like they used change to spell it.
You gotta spell it right. Fuccboi. Oh god. With a hockey rash on their person.
With a hockey mask on their person and a criminal record.
Oh, that sounds...
Hockey rash.
This sounds like...
Could be a hockey rash.
This sounds like the frat boy version of, like, Jason.
Honestly.
It's an undead fuckboy with a hockey mask and a criminal record.
This is genuinely Jason Voorhees.
Okay, so option 1, genuine Jason Voorhees. Option 2, a living fuckboy.
What are the odds? Oh.
Won't share food unless you tickle them.
Oh no.
What do they eat, though?
Yeah, because, like, we know what the undead fuckboy eats. The living
DMs.
fuckboy hopefully eats your DMs.
Sorry.
He slides into them and then he devours. Oh god. I'm pretty okay with tickling people for food, just in general. Like,
Oh god.
I'm not gonna say that that's how I get my food. I don't
accepted
really.
that. Like, that's good reasoning. I'm like, I agree. Like,
Yeah. Okay. The fuckboy who needs to be tickled is in our. He's on our team. Here you go.
okay. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf, who is a Philistine art hater. That might be true in real life.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf, who is a Philistine art hater.
Yeah, so someone who hates art. I'm like, this might just be Shia LaBeouf sometimes. Like, Shia LaBeouf
Oh, a
2 years ago.
Philistine is an art hater?
Yeah, that's what it means.
I thought that was a nationality.
It might be.
I wasn't sure.
It might be a roast, if that's the case. A polar bear who has been transformed into a human in a weird Freaky Friday TM experience.
Hashtag my soulmate.
It's like, gee, I wish I could be you, and you touch the paws of the polar bear and you switch.
How would you choose between them and Ed Sheeran?
Oh god.
It's gonna be like a Brooke Bachelorette show.
Right? It is though. If you pick Jason Voorhees, it would have.
Okay.
And constantly quotes obscure indie films and acts condescending when you don't get the reference. This polar bear has attitude.
I don't know about that.
So Wes Anderson, polar bear, or Shia LaBeouf somehow. I like Shia LaBeouf. You know what? I'm gonna have that on the record.
Controversial opinion
I
right
know.
there. Wow.
I'm not even gonna back it up. Here you go, Brooke. Take the spotlight away from me.
Oh god. Okay. A licensed doctor
Ooh.
could be useful. Mm-hmm. Who once dabbed at a child.
Oh my god.
Unforgivable.
Yeah.
The license is pyrotechnics and the doctorate is in philosophy.
Oh my god. Good.
This is gonna be me.
Oh my god. Gus the dog, I don't care what his downfall is. Gus has so many flaws already. Is a vampire. What does it say in brackets?
Choose whichever type of vampire you want. There's so many.
Oh my god. It doesn't matter. Gus is a vampire. Every single day.
Social vampire.
Yes. I don't even care what kind of vampire.
Alright, we got Gus.
That's it.
Okay, so I've got shirtless rollerblading guitar guy who will go into a coma at some point.
That could just be convenient.
Yeah, like we could get kind of sick of his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got Connor McDavid, who's disturbingly committed to teaching everyone correct squat form.
Probably actually Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I feel like that's him. But it could be good to, keep in shape. for the rest of our lives.
That's
Only
true.
squats.
And God, yeah, I'm gonna take Connor on this one. He
I mean, he goes out to dinner with his mom, so he's got to be kind of a nice guy.
Really? Where does he go out to dinner?
I don't know. I saw it in the news.
Oh.
Apparently that's newsworthy.
There's like a polar bear outside looking in. They're like, wow, must be nice.
Oh, they're eating fresh seal.
Oh, God.
McDavid family delicacy.
Oh, no.
So I have, oh my god, this is my worst fear. High school gym teacher who says the opposite of what they mean. Real life gym teachers.
Yeah.
How does heads up mean duck? That doesn't make any sense. Like someone says heads up, like boom, and dead. A person with excellent penmanship and funny jokes. Addicted to crack cocaine. Please, I need
Still
this in my
worth
life. I'll let the audience try and guess which one I picked.
Okay. Oh, no.
Oh.
Guy Fieri smells of gasoline.
Yes, he does.
I met him. It was weird.
Wait, you met him?
Please,
Story
yes.
time.
Where were we? I think we were in San Diego. And me and my parents road tripped to San Diego because we're lame. and we were eating at his restaurant, and he was there. And my brother's a really big fan, because of course he is. 'Cause he would. And my mom ran up to Guy Fieri and she's like, "Oh my god, my son is such a big fan." And he was like, "Oh, where is he?" And she was like, "In Canada." And I was like, "I'm her daughter." And I didn't say I was a fan because I'm not. And it was just awkward. And in person, he's just, you know when you see him on TV, you're like, wow, that guy's probably obnoxious in person. He doesn't even have to talk, and he's just there in the room.
He has an obnoxious presence.
And you just want to leave.
It's the smell of gasoline wafting
Yeah.
over where you sit.
I mean, I kind of like the smell of gasoline, but not on Guy Fieri. Okay, so Guy Fieri that smells of gasoline, or
Is it me?
yeah, I just can't read. What does that say?
A guy who can regenerate limbs, but looks like he enjoys the no escape room.
Okay,
So he can regenerate limbs.
Like he's in it forever.
but he's having a great
He's
time.
having a great time.
Okay, or who sheds hair at an alarming rate.
No. all roads lead to Guy, I guess.
Oh no! I mean, he can cook. Guy Fieri could cook.
That's his one redeem. But it's not going to be vegan food, probably.
You're right.
You know
It might
him.
be human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
You know what? I choose the hairy guy who can regenerate his limbs. Maybe we can scalp him every once in a while. It'll grow back, but it'll be fine. Is the scalp a limb? I'm a scientist. I don't know.
Scalp a limb.
Oh no.
It is in microbiology terms. So that's all I can tell you. Okay, so here we got Emo Socrates,
Yeah.
who says "excuse me" and spanks.
Kill me. Kill him.
That's like
Oh,
scene
this is the
kid
last one, you guys.
Oh, I'm ready.
Scene kids.
He's good. It ends in a pair.
And then we have a narcoleptic. Oh, sorry. We have your middle school bully who's also a narcoleptic. That means they steal things, right?
I mean, they
just
fall
fall
asleep.
asleep at random times.
Oh.
I
What's
heard-
the stealing one?
Kleptomaniac.
Maniac.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with Emo Socrates.
Nice.
Because my middle school bully was actually horrible. And I don't want to relive that trauma.
Good. Saving us all the struggle.
Yeah. It was anyway.
So wait, let's each write one. So, because I'm a
A
bit...
trait?
Oh, yeah!
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to come up with the final traits.
I feel like we're voting in Survivor.
Okay, so Cody, you go first.
The first person who's on the chopping block is Michael Jackson, and he knows how to escape. That's hard
Wait
to
a
say. No.
second.
Oh my god.
How is it going to get any better than that?
Yo, I always told you Michael Jackson was my hero. Y'all think I'm joking, but I'm not.
Okay, Brooke. Let's see if we can top this.
You can't! If you guys pick anyone else, I'm leaving right now.
You're escaping with Michael.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Oh, this one's good too. Oh no, you guys know me so well. Stephen King, but he's actually a king. Oh no!
And his trait?
You can never tell if he's being sarcastic.
That's fine.
I don't even
That's
care.
okay.
That's a writer's thing.
I'm not even gonna read this one. Let's just go with those two.
Oh, come on, I need to know.
No, this one's way too lame to even be considered. It's Mayor Dawn Iveson's personal assistant, not her shitty kid this time, who loves to remind everyone that Rubik's watches us use the bathroom. Wow, who invited this family?
Oh, God.
This is tough. It's not tough. I think it was Michael Jackson.
I love Michael Jackson and I love Stephen King, but Michael wins every time.
Plus, he knows how to escape.
Right? Right?
Shit.
I mean, if we just weigh this in terms of tattoos I have devoted to these two men, Michael Jackson wins just by a hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what's the numbers
You got a
here?
hair tattooed?
No. One Michael Jackson hair. Just kidding. It's super weird. No, I have 6 Michael Jackson tattoos and 2 Stephen King tattoos. So
You have 6 Michael tattoos?
they're very subtle.
Oh.
And you can't tell they're Michael until you ask. And then I have to explain it and it gets weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that then. Wow, okay, so I think we've got a pretty great,
Yeah.
Now we're gonna
Great
bachelorette it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, turns out, Brooke, you were Rubik's this whole time, and you infiltrated mine and Cassie's decision making, and
Yes.
this has always been a bachelorette show. Except you're also gonna kill the people who you don't vote for.
Oh, no.
So, who wins?
Who do I choose?
Yeah, who
Nope.
wins?
There's a lot of good contestants. Maybe you have to get them out by category.
Oh, my God. Do I have to, marry this person?
You have to not kill them, which is pretty much the same.
Okay, well, I think in that case, just based on a sheer emotional attachment, I gotta pick Gus the dog as a vampire.
Wow, that says so much about you as a person. I love it. You're gonna keep your dog.
It says a lot, yeah. It's like all the humans die, the dog
Yeah, fuck
survives.
those bitches.
Oh, God. I didn't think of it that way.
Hey, it's alright. We all know you're vegan, bro.
I really hope a horror movie ends that way. Like everyone's getting butchered, and there's a dog who's like,
Oh, my God.
Fine.
I get very angry if the dog dies in the movie, though. Doesn't everyone?
I cry. I'm a little bit angry. I'm like, why?
It's like, why the fuck would those filmmakers do
Right,
this to me?
we're shutting this off.
So thank you so much, Brooke, for being here and for playing our very silly game. I mean, I liked it.
I learned about myself today.
Yeah.
We played Brooke's game, right? She was Rubik's this whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for dragging us into this shitstorm. I'm glad we're all dead now.
Yes. Sorry, guys. We all know Gus wins every time.
That's true.
So earlier today, you came to my place and you said, I'm going to learn something. And I'm going to continue speaking with bad prepositions in these sentences because Cody's narrating. What is that thing that you learned now? Or what did you want to learn?
You're right, I did say all of that verbatim. I think the most valuable, information that she imparted to us today was, go vegan, everybody, yes! I mean, she said a lot of things that I kind of, they resonated with me because I believe them too. Like the whole idea of striking a balance between doing what's right for you and doing what's right for the world. And it's always a struggle to find that balance because at the end of the day, you can't really help people if you're not taking care of yourself. So treat yourself and treat everyone else. But yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like the way she said it.
Yeah.
There's a line that I think I'm probably paraphrasing BoJack Horseman, but it's hard to balance what's good and what's good for you. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of the pressures of the world might feel like they're your responsibility to solve, but if you destroy yourself, then you're never going to solve your issues. Mm-hmm. So it's about a balance. I really like how she said that, with a little bit of nihilistic science attitude.
I don't know. She doesn't seem like a pessimistic person. She's just
realist.
Yeah, a realist, which is
what she said is entirely based on what was observed by the Earth and followed suit through the environment, and now it's a human problem, and we're the ones who can respond to it best. Maybe there's some mystical beast who could better respond to it. In which case, I haven't watched enough Miyazaki films. I don't know.
Let's all just pray on this blessed Easter Sunday, which it is. We talked a lot about how it was April Fool's, said nothing about the fact that it's also Easter.
I thought the two were entailed.
They're just intertwined, like Jesus pranked us all.
Well, he was like, I'm going to die on this cross, and I was like, ooh, I've seen this before. And he comes out like David Blaine, or is it... Because other people have faked their deaths. Like, escaping from a cave, pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure Socrates said that too. Okay. Also, the killers said that. Like, it's a very important metaphor.
Yeah.
Leave your cave. Be a better citizen. Go vegan. And help the polar bears.